Hello, I have the privilege of doing Testimony Tuesday today. I feel like if I'm going to start my testimony, I always need to start it at before I was born. Before I was born, about 2 weeks before my birth, my parents were told that I would be about 2 pounds and that I would most likely have Down syndrome. And so that obviously was devastating news, and my parents, when they went to their next church service, decided to go down and have special prayer. And my mom said that when they laid hands on her to pray, that it just felt like I stretched and began to grow inside of her stomach. And so then a short time later, I was born. And I still tease my dad to this day because he, I guess, made the comment of that I was the ugliest baby he'd ever seen. But he was able to say that because of the miracles that they felt that had taken place. He said I had like no bridge to my nose. I had a really chunky neck and had the little flaps on my eyes, which have almost completely gone now as I'm older. But at that time, they covered a large part of my eye, and they said that they just felt like that was God's confirmation to say that, yes, I was going to be exactly what they said, and yes, He had healed my body and my mind. And so to this day, now I'm a teacher. For years, I taught 4th grade, and I am currently teaching kindergarten. So I feel like He blessed me in so many ways. But the other part of my testimony comes from a little more sad / joyous part of my heart, because it ends happily, but it was not always happy. My husband and I got married, and I couldn't wait for us to have children. And I was so excited the first time we had a positive pregnancy test. And I did everything. I tried to do everything right. I was very careful with the things that I ate and followed all the rules, took all the prenatal vitamins, and I noticed getting close to 12 weeks, I had an infection, and so I had to take some medication. The medication just seemed to make me so sick. I felt so gross. And then I went in for the 12-week appointment to hear the baby's heartbeat. And so I took in my mom and my mother-in-law. We were all so excited. And as they placed the little sound monitor on my stomach, I didn't hear anything. And so I started to get scared, and here I am surrounded with everyone. It's supposed to be a happy time, and I was not feeling very happy. I was feeling very nervous and frightened. And so then they sent us back to do the ultrasound. She said, "Don't worry, this doesn't mean anything's wrong. We could have been wrong about a lot of things. So I just want to take you back to ultrasound." So we went back to ultrasound, and as the ultrasound technician was doing the scan, he looked at me and he said, "How far along did you say you were supposed to be?" And I looked up on the screen and I thought, that's not what I should be seeing right now. And so I said 12 weeks, and he was like, "Okay." And then the doctor said she wanted me to take some blood work, because you can take some blood work and see if your HCG level doubles in 3 days like it should, and if so, then everything's fine. She said maybe it's early twins. So I left the doctor feeling unsure and scared and worried, and they didn't have to give me the call back to tell me that I was losing the baby, because before they ever called me, I started miscarrying. And so that was our first experience with loss of our child. It had stopped developing at 6 weeks, and I had just carried it until the 12th week. So about a year later, we wound up pregnant again. I was terrified but super excited because I wanted our family to begin. And long story short, I miscarried very shortly after I found out I was pregnant. And my heart was so heavy and so broken. I didn't understand, and I thought, God, why? I want children so badly. I would care for them, and I had family members that were even addicts, and they were having multiple children all the time, and I just could not understand why I wasn't able to have a child. And then we were pregnant the month after I miscarried. And I prayed, and we had the church pray. We prayed over that baby, and that baby is now my 7-year-old, almost 8-year-old daughter. After she was born, we waited a while and decided that we might try to have another baby. And I got pregnant again, so that was exciting. But shortly after, I miscarried, and so that was our third miscarriage. The month after that, I found out I was pregnant again. And again, we prayed and prayed and prayed that everything would be fine, and that is my now 4-year-old, almost 5-year-old little boy. After he came along, we waited a while, and we weren't trying or expecting to have another child. And around Father's Day, I found out I was pregnant again. Super excited over this precious, unplanned pregnancy, surprise baby. And so we didn't really know how far along we were or anything, so we went in for an ultrasound. And we were 5 weeks and something, and we got to hear the heartbeat. And so that was super exciting, but I was still, I don't know, there was a part of me that was just still so uncertain and not sure how things were going to go. So we had another ultrasound that was set up. And we were going to try to figure out exactly how far along I was. And as I went in to change for that ultrasound, I felt, I don't know, I didn't feel right. And then I noticed the blood. And I just started crying because I knew that it wasn't going to be one that we got to keep. And so it was, I laid down on the table and I explained to the ultrasound technician. She had the very uncomfortable position of trying to see if she could find the baby in the heartbeat. And there was no heartbeat. And so we lost our little surprise baby. And so my doctor said, we need to try to figure out why this keeps happening. Because my HCG levels were always really high. And so she said, let's go ahead and check your progesterone, but I don't think it's that, because if it's your progesterone, normally women don't have children if they have low progesterone. That's just the way it works. So I was like, okay. They tested it, and my HCG levels were very high, and my progesterone levels were in the tubes. And so I just felt like that was my confirmation that God had given me my miracles. My 2 babies that I have right now, they were my miracles. And we've lost one more after that, but I was blessed with my 2 beautiful children, and doctors proved to me that they were indeed my little miracle babies that God had given to me.